To the ones who've been holding it all, the silence, the emotions, the logistics, this space is for you. There's a particular kind of grief no one prepares you for. It's not the grief of someone leaving. It's the grief of realizing they were never going to change. And not because they couldn't, but because they didn't need to. Because the relationship worked for them. You tried everything. You chose your words carefully, softened your tone, waited for calm moments. You sent articles. You used I feel statements. You thought if you just found the right framing, it would finally land. When that didn't work, you tried patience. Told yourself they were stressed, tired, carrying old wounds. You learned about attachment styles and trauma responses and emotional immaturity, as if understanding the mechanisms would somehow fix it. But here's the part that hurts. Understanding someone does not obligate them to grow. Insight does not equal change. And sometimes the hardest truth to face is this. You cannot heal someone who benefits from not changing. If they benefit from you over-functioning, from you absorbing tension, from you staying and adjusting and smoothing things over, then there's no internal pressure for them to evolve. The system works. Why would they change it? And slowly, something shifts inside you. Not anger, not drama, but clarity. You begin to see the pattern. Every deep conversation ends with you doing the emotional labor. Apologies arrive without behavior change. Your own growth is widening the gap between you. And that's when the grief begins. Because you still care. You still see their potential. You still remember who they were at the start. But you also see who they are right now. And you only have access to who they are right now. You cannot want their healing more than they do. You cannot drag someone into accountability. You cannot build a relationship with someone's future self. Grieving that truth is painful in a way that's hard to name. It feels like letting go without actually living. It feels like loving someone and accepting quietly that they may never meet you where you stand. This grief tends to arrive not in a single moment, but in the accumulation of small ones. The first time you stop rehearsing a conversation in your head. The first time you don't reach for the right words to package your needs carefully enough not to upset them. It arises when you realize you've been managing someone else's growth instead of protecting your own. There's something deeply adult about saying, I can't fix you. not in anger, not as punishment, but as plain truth. Sometimes people don't change because changing would mean losing the comfort of your accommodation. When you stop accommodating, they may call you cold, distant, different. But what's actually happening is that you've stopped caring what isn't yours. This isn't only about partners. It's for adult children who've spent years trying to earn emotional availability from a parent. For parents waiting for a grown child to take responsibility. For everyone who believed for a long time that love was enough to inspire transformation. Love can support change. It cannot force it. And recognizing that distinction, real feeling it, not just knowing it intellectually, is a form of maturity. It means you're stepping out of the fixer role, the therapist role, the person who believes that if they just try harder or explain better, something will finally shift. You're allowed to stop trying. You're allowed to stop explaining. You're allowed to accept someone exactly as they are and decide whether that works for you. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. And clarity is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It's just a quiet steadiness that comes when you stop waiting for someone to become who you needed them to be and start returning to yourself. If this resonates, you are not alone. There are many people quietly grieving the version of someone they hoped would exist and choosing peace instead of potential. You have been holding it all. Here, you can set some of it down.